President Donald Trump's former chief of staff is claiming that his former boss is in the Epstein files. You know, the Epstein files that Pam Bondi said absolutely existed. And then, oops, oh, turns out they don't actually exist. Kash Patel's like, whoa, they existed. And then, oh, turns out, no, they were fake the whole time. They never existed. And of course, Trump is now claiming that they didn't exist, but they actually do. But it is a invention by Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and James Comey. Again, this is after pushing for years to have the Epstein files released, Epstein client list released, and now he's like, oh, it's fake news. It's fake news. It was created by my political enemies, deep state, whatever, wasn't really real, and my supporters who still believe in it are idiots, and I don't want them as my supporters anymore. Oops. Now, Mick Mulvaney, who spoke to Al Jazeera in a forthcoming interview, told the outlet that not only is there files, but Trump's in them. Quote, a lot of people are in the files. Oh, you don't say. So yes, they exist, according to Mulvaney, and Trump's in them, and a lot of people too. Now, to be fair, he also said if there was something in the files that was particularly damaging about Donald Trump, the files would have been released by the Biden administration. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, let's get to what he says before I get into it further. Okay, Mulvaney says there's photographs of them together, so if there is a file somewhere, which I assume there is, I have to imagine his name is on the list someplace. Yeah, I mean, you have a relationship, a friendship that close. Yeah, of course there's a list. Okay, now Mulvaney, of course, then went on to speculate as to why both Biden and Trump are not releasing any information on Epstein. Quote, my guess is that it's particularly damning of people on both sides of the aisle, which is why Trump doesn't want to release it, and why Biden didn't want to release it either. You know, I think the guy may have a point. Look, I do personally believe that there is a client list. There's information that we don't know. And I think it's probably filled with very rich people who happen to donate to both sides of the aisle. I mean, think of your wealthy CEOs, your hedge fund managers, people like that. All right. People knee deep in, giving to politicians, rich and powerful people who think that they're above the law. And in our current system, of course, they would be correct about that. But those are the types of people, who would possibly be on that list. And I do think that there might be politicians on both sides. And I know one of the arguments is, oh, yeah, well, liberals, what if Bill Clinton was on the list? Would you release it then? My response would be, absolutely. Yes. Yes, if there is somebody who is on the list who has abused children, I would want them to be arrested and punished. I mean, this shouldn't be a game of political partisanship, right? If you actually do care about helping the victims of people like Epstein, which there absolutely were victims of Epstein, then yes, you would want to have some sort of justice. And it doesn't matter who is implicated. I mean, this would not happen, and I don't believe this at all, but even if somebody like Bernie Sanders, and I'm just throwing his name out because it's somebody that I absolutely respect and all that. And again, I know he wouldn't do something like this. So just, I'm throwing that name out there because it is somebody that I respect. If he were on that list, I'd be like, oh, we're done. We're done. Arrest him. Throw him in prison. Okay. You don't abuse children and get away with it. Again, this is something that you would think, you would hope that people like, the QAnon people that were, harping about this for years and years and years would be like, we would agree. Like, yes, you harm a child. Doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you're on. You harm a child, and that's it. You're done. You're done. But, prison time for you. I don't see too much of that. Now, there is some division in MAGA where you have some people that are like, oh, no, if he's in the Epstein files, that's it, we're done. Okay. And so I at least there's a little bit of consistency among some members. But again, you also see that there are members of MAGA, people who support Trump are like, oh, no, move on. He says he's not in there. He says there's nothing there. We're just, okay, go forward. No, and those people I have absolutely no respect for. So yes, it doesn't matter if it's a Democrat or a Republican that's in there. If there's a list and you have harmed a child, on Epstein's island, then no, you got to go. Prison time. Straight to jail. Okay? That's it. But anyway, look, I think there are probably more Republicans if there's a list on it than anyone, because understand that predators are drawn to power, right? And that's why you see a lot of people who are, prey on children end up in the clergy, okay? End up in the church, okay? Because it makes it really easy, or religion makes it very, very easy for a predator to take advantage of people using that power imbalance of religion. And that's why you see, again, people who are incredibly wealthy, people who run giant companies, okay, doing this kind of stuff, because they are drawn to power. And the people that, and why I say that this is more of a right-wing problem, and I'm not saying that, this doesn't exist in the Democrats as well, but I say it's more of a right-wing problem because, look, right-wingers, their followers are less likely to challenge them. They're more likely to listen to authority figures, okay? And people who are rich and powerful, people who are in the higher echelons of these religions, okay? And so that's why, yes, it tends to be more on the right wing. Again, not always. For example, Anthony Weiner, okay? He was a Democrat caught sexting a teen. So that's a problem, okay? And so it does exist. Now, that said, I'm saying that Mulvaney is probably onto something when he says that, to protect powerful people. And look, you don't have to be QAnon to believe that. We do all know that people who are predators are ones who seek positions of power and influence and that have absolutely no moral quandaries about hurting people for their own benefit, which, of course, is a hallmark also of billionaires. And so, yeah, there's got to be a little bit of overlap there. It makes sense. And I know that I'm getting a little bit into conspiracy theory territory, but hey, it's not like Trump and the right didn't spread this one first. I'm just saying. So live by the conspiracy, die by the conspiracy, apparently. He built this. And for me, every furious denial and threat from Trump just makes him look just even more and more guilty of something. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.